Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Today's video is gonna be about ball machines because I've tested a bunch of ball machines in recent months. Moving ones, portable ones, and machines that kind of fall in between. Different budget ranges, some more expensive, some on the lower scale of prices. So I hope there's something in this video for you, and I think you will find a machine out of these 4 or 5 that I've tested that you will like. But there's no perfect machine. I must say that you gotta come in to this segment, this kind of exploding market, with a little bit of a tempered expectation. It is moving fast though. They are updating firmware, they are updating software, and sometimes you require that because there are some bugs with certain machines that they don't really work 100% from when you get them, but you need to learn to tweak them a little bit. You need to upgrade the software and the firmware, and then you will probably have a good experience. But it's not been an easy review process for me because obviously you need to pay for court time, and then sometimes setup takes time, and you need to kind of verify speed claims. Sometimes the claims are exaggerated in terms of AI features, in terms of ball speeds. They usually refer to maybe the max setting or the most optimal conditions, which you might not experience. So I've tried to be as unbiased, as neutral, my usual self, to give you a good idea of what I think of these machines, and maybe this can help you in the process. I've also done some research on what people think about these machines and so on. And this can be quite interesting because when they are out as Kickstarter, people have a higher expectation because they do fund with money, and sometimes the machines are delayed and so on. So not sure I can recommend going the Kickstarter road for a customer, but for a company it seems to be a pretty good idea to fund your project. But then you need to deliver what you promise. So like I said before, this industry has now become ultra competitive. For a while there was only the Slinger and maybe more established brands, the Lobster and Spin Shot, I think, and these types of brands. And the Slinger came as a portable option. Only did topspin really. I don't know what the Slinger bag does today, but that was a huge limitation of that machine, but people like the portability. Nowadays there are smaller machines that do more than the Slinger. So I don't know how Slinger are doing as a company, but it's not the best choice on the market today, I would venture out to say. But I would say in general, in this exploding segment, do your research, have modest expectations. Know what you want to do with the ball machine. Do you want advanced drills? Do you like the maximum AI features? Do you need movement of the machine? Think about that before you buy. This is gonna help you identify which machine might work for you. In general, actually, I would say that the fewer the features or the more basic features, they work better for me. So if you're not aiming for the stars as a ball machine manufacturer, I think it's generally better to create a product that is stable, reliable, portable, and easy to use. I think these factors are very important. Ball speed is pretty important as well, since there's been some misconceptions around ball speed, sometimes from the manufacturers, that they exaggerate. And you can test that with speed guns. I've tried to test a bit myself with the speed gun. Obviously, these tests are not 100% scientific. You need to be pretty exact, needs to be optimal settings, but just to give you an idea of what I think, at least. These are my personal opinions and not sponsored, not paid for or nothing. So let's look at the ball machine basics. You need to offer different spins. You want to have a launch that is possible to do like a lob, and it's possible to do underspin, and top spin, flat, and so on. The machine needs to move, or the head needs to rotate for different ball placements so you can hit the ball from different locations on the court. I think this is pretty important for me. It's not important for everyone. Decent ball speed. You need the ball speed to be not maybe the highest, not 80 miles per hour, but at least 60 miles per hour. So you have a challenging ball if that's what you want to practice on. So I think this is pretty important. That's something I would keep my eye on as well. A remote is something that is useful to have, so you don't need to carry your phone. All these machines I've tested, they have an app that you download. The apps work pretty fine, but still you would like a remote, because I wouldn't want to carry my phone, you know, depending on how heavy it is. Maybe you have an iPhone Pro Max and it's weighing down your pocket and you're gonna move and do drills, not optimal. So a light remote is recommended. Not all these machines have a remote. Two have, two don't. So we'll get into that as well. One thing is portability. I'm not gonna bring the machine as often if I find it difficult to move around or maneuver. Heavy, that's gonna be a no-no for me. Might not be a problem for you if you have your own court. No issue at all. You can just leave it out or just roll it on the court. I need to carry it in the car, take it upstairs, downstairs, and to the court. So I need it to be portable. Some of these are not super portable. I've managed okay, but I will go through pros and cons of each machine in this video. I have tested some features like AI tracking, for example. This is my least liked feature, or something that I don't find so much use in. Maybe you think opposite. Maybe you have a great experience with the AI features, meaning sensors that tell you, that launch the ball depending on where you are on the court. So sometimes it can be a recovery drill that allows you to recover. It detects that you're off position, so it waits until it hits the ball to you. Or it can be the opposite. It's going to give you a very challenging ball because you're out of position. It's going to hit to the other side. Some of these have some bugs. I don't think that the ball launch is always as expected or as advertised. But I think in the future, these features can actually become quite useful. But so far, we're pretty early days, I would say. I haven't really enjoyed any of these super advanced drills with any of the machines I've tried. And I tried other machines beyond the ones in this video as well. So I wouldn't buy a machine based on advertised AI features. I don't think the machines are learning so much yet. Maybe they will in the future. But I do think that they, through cameras or sensors, can tell where the player is and then launch the ball based on that. But then there's still gonna be some issues, I noticed. It's not like a super smooth process with ball machines yet. Advanced pre-programmed drills, like what I mentioned, have not worked perfectly when I customize my own drills, or the more basic ones. That's been fine with all the machines in this test. But I noticed that sometimes pre-programmed drills or advanced drills like drop shot, a slice, a lob, we can see some hang-ups from the machine, and you might need to restart it. Then it might work on the second or third attempt, but good to keep in mind that these machines are not just like every time launching the ball in the right spot. I have not had that experience, at least. So I think setting up basic drills or your own drills has been the most reliable approach, where you get the most out of the machine. That's for my personal tennis training. I do like using ball machines. I think it's a very good way to repeat strokes. Maybe you have a huge weakness like a backhand or something. You can actually really work on it with the ball machine. I think this is one way to improve, because if you're hitting with a player, you wouldn't want to bother him or her and say, hey, can you only hit on my backhand? And they're going to get a lousy shot back, and you might adjust your shot to suit them, and it's not going to be the result you want. So definitely think it's a great idea to have a ball machine. I have enjoyed these ball machines, but then obviously with each machine there are pros and cons, which we'll get into now. So let's start with the most eye-catching and ball-catching machine I've tried, which is the Acemate S10. I think it's called Tennis Robot as well. So S10, I think they will launch more machines, but this is the one I've seen from their website. This machine is very rugged, has handles, it has a lot of features that I like. I did have some snafus setting it up with the net that catches the ball, not all balls, but catches some balls. And in the beginning, I had issues calibrating it, but they have done firmware software updates, so it's much easier to calibrate and get it going. But there were some bugs with this machine for me initially that frustrated me. The regular ball machine features all worked really well. I really like those. I must say, on the pro side, that for like kids and an academy or something, this type of ball machine with the kind of gimmicky net that catches balls if you hit to it, the movement of the ball machine giving you a different angle on the shots coming back to you. This is actually really nice, and I think could be a wow factor for your clients if you're a coach, or for kids training with this machine. So it could actually lead them to training more with the machine, which I think is a good idea and something I appreciate with the machine. As I said, the build quality is very robust. Downside of that is that it's a heavy machine to carry. There are some heavy machines in this test, but this one actually had handles, so that's pretty good. And you have a really cool bonus feature, which is that you can control the machine with the app and then let it roll alongside you. Sometimes it's a bit counterintuitive where the machine is gonna go, so be careful when you're rolling it with the remote. But it's a cool feature, it's an eye-catching feature, and I can understand why this machine has been pretty hyped, because it does have some really cool features, even though it doesn't catch every ball. I had some snafus with bugs and so on, but when it works, when it actually does what it's supposed to, it's actually a cool machine and some great fun to train with. And also anything standard with this machine works pretty well. It's not the fastest ball speed, but it's pretty decent. I think if you use standard ball machine features, one of the most interesting and ambitious machines in this test. I would say that this has a lot of potential. I think with the movement, giving you that different ball, that kind of still artificial, but it's at least a little bit like rallying with someone. When you're hitting to a point, the machine goes to that point and hits the ball back. Some of the drills I did, I felt like this one was excellent. You can hear from my friend Leah, who tried this with me the first time and had a pretty positive experience. I'm here with Leah. She has been friendly enough to hit with me and my new buddy, Acemate, a moving ball machine that has a net that was a bit of a headache to install. But when we did it, it was fun. It did catch some balls and we had a good time. What was your impressions, Leah?
First impression was it took like a bit of time to set up the mode of the spin of the ball and the depth and all this. But once we had it, it's a fantastic workout if you're alone in the court. The good feature about this machine is that it moves and catches the balls. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's like, but it's almost like if you're playing against someone and they're moving, catching your ball and then throwing a ball from the same spot. It's also good to practice target. As this moves, you have to target to where the machine is. So very good for footwork, precision, technique and everything. The overall experience was very positive. Besides the fact that maybe setting it up was a bit of a hassle, but if you're with a friend, it's even better. And yes, that's pretty much it.
So this was somewhat frustrating for me initially, but I think it keeps improving. Firmware, software updates. You need patience, in short, and you need to be earlier with your court time. Don't be too late on the court time because it might take some time setting up the net and so on. You don't need the net, but it is a nice feature, especially if you want the machine to move and catch balls, right? So some pros and cons of the Acemate S10 that overall I enjoyed, but it wasn't like the super smoothest experience. Fun look and features. I think the design is really cool, very sturdy. You can see the battery time, which I think is great. A little bit of a thing is that the battery will deplete faster when it moves, obviously. So quite a significant difference there. When the machine is not moving and when the machine is moving, a pretty significant difference in battery. The wheels are really sturdy, really cool, moves in all directions. I think it's very eye-catching. It does take some time to set up, as I noted, with the net. Calibration now should be much quicker, but for me it was a bit long. It has no remote, so you need to rely on the app. The app has some interesting features with AI telling you like ball placement, percentage hit, it gives you advice and so on. I think this is very early days. Might be useful in the future, not quite useful for me personally yet, but if they keep improving it, I think it could be really cool. So I like the ambition, not quite there yet. It's pricier, pretty reasonable considering. I think there's some offer that they sent me. I think you can get 15% off for like 2 weeks now and maybe 5% off after that using the code Tennisnerd. So overall, I think this was a pretty interesting machine. It was the most eye-catching, ball-catching and ambitious one. Might not be the one I just go out and buy myself, but I think if I had some kind of club academy or like kids groups or beginner groups, I probably would splurge on this one and use it as a kind of a good starter drill thing. Then we have Viva Sports, Veva Sports. It's the P3 Pro. This one also has a bunch of features, but no wheels. It has sensors instead of cameras, like the Acemate, and it looks a bit like baby formula. It's not the best looking machine, actually probably the worst looking machine. But what it does actually really well. And this was the machine in the beginning I was the least excited to try because it does look a little bit dated. And it's kind of basic features. I mean, the AI stuff, the sensors, it does work. Some advanced drills have the same issues as all the machines here, like going very advanced, the features are a little bit buggy. But when you use the basic or you customize your own drills, the machine works really well. And the big pro here is the ball speed. The ball speed is very solid with this machine. I think it probably has the fastest ball alongside the Pongbot. Those are pretty similar, but pretty solid ball speed, can create a heavy ball with some top spin, pretty easy to change. Another big pro here is the remote that can change the ball speed. It doesn't have a display as with the Pongbot Pace S Pro that's also reviewed here, but it does the things that the remote offers really well. So no need to carry your phone to change your drill, stop and start, change the elevation or the speed. So remote is actually great. The sensors is not something I've used a lot or will keep using a lot. I think they seem to work pretty well at times. Some drills not perfect, but some drills I did, they worked fine. So also something that will be solved with software and firmware updates. But this machine was kind of a sleeper machine for me. I thought it would be the one I might like the least because it doesn't really have a strong name. It's not been advertised so much. But the price point is pretty good. It's kind of half price of Acemate. So doesn't have the wheels, doesn't have the ball catching, of course. But the basics, it does really well. And I think if you mainly want like a solid feed to work on your strokes, I think this one should be high on the list because it's easy to get going. I would have loved a little bit more of a portability thinking when it comes to like handles, because now this one, it rolls fine like a suitcase, but it doesn't have like a good way to carry it when you have to carry it from the car or like, on stairs and so on. So this they need to work on for future generations. But I like the machine. It actually impressed me in some features with the feeds being very good, which is kind of the most important thing. And the remote was a big plus for me. Also, decent amount of balls, 140 balls. The Viva Sports P3 Pro reminded me of the Pongbot Pace S Pro that I tried months ago. It was the first ball machine I tried in a while. I've been playing ball machines over the years of being a tennis nerd, on and off. Older machines, newer machines, and so on. Then, of course, something happened after the slinger, few years of the slinger market, and now they're all over the place with AI features and whatnot. The Pongbot does the same things as the Viva. I think the Pongbot was before the Viva, so I'm not sure if it was copied or something. No matter what. A little bit higher price point, I think, but not that much. Same thing with the sensors. What I really like with the Pongbot was solid ball feed, the most important part. Does all the spins, does pretty good speed, works as advertised pretty much. The app was good. You have the community drills, so you can set up drills in a community. Sometimes these drills are crap, but it's because someone set them up like crap maybe, so that's fine. But it has a lot of drills. So more drills, I think, than the Viva. Although the Viva drills are pretty good overall, and when you customize your own, they're absolutely fine. But the Pongbot has like a significant drill library. The remote has a display, which I think is great. So you see what you're doing. However, that's gonna take more battery from the remote. So you probably will need to charge it more than the Viva remote, which did the basics really well. So this machine and the Viva, I think, are the ones that are like pretty logical purchases, I would say. No real huge faults besides both struggling with that carrying feature. They both have the handle and the suitcase and a little bit bulky and no easy way to lift it. Pretty heavy as well, so not the easiest to lug around. This would be a downside for me with both of these machines. Not exactly sure which one I would take, but I think they are very solid overall. I had a little bit more of an irritation experience with either the Acemate or the Tenniix that we're getting to. But overall, there's something in each machine in this video. But I think these two are very solid options for the price point, for the basic features. I wouldn't go crazy on the AI stuff. I would more focus on, can I customize my own drills? Is the ball speed good? And these things have worked well with both machines for me personally. So that's the Pongbot Pace S Pro. I know Pongbot and the other companies are releasing machines and changing machines, so maybe this review is really outdated when you watch it, but I wanted to give you my thinking around ball machines after trying a bunch. Okay, and now the final machine in this video, and that's the Tenniix. I tried the basic one. This one has had some criticism online for bad advertising around ball speeds, and it does seem that it doesn't quite generate the ball speed it should. Maybe in a perfect setting it does. That's the video I got sent from Tenniix when I questioned them about it. And they proved that in the optimal setting, the ball speed will be as high as they advertise. However, when I've tried it, the ball speed doesn't have that pace. It requires some fiddling to get the ball speed up to a challenging ball. But for some sessions we did with this machine, it was me and Daniel, he got like a really tough ball. So I think it has some potential, but it's a thing with the ball speed. I know there's some guys that are angry about the ball speeds and so on. I've actually used this machine quite a lot because I found it so portable, and that's been my main big plus for this machine. It's cool, it looks like a Star Wars droid. It is very portable. It has the strap. You can just put it on your shoulder, hang it on your shoulder, and then walk from the car to the court. It's not gonna take up a lot of space. It is obviously not the biggest space for balls. It might not have the strongest engine, but if you just want like a workout and you want to use the ball machine for a bit, you don't want to think about like how much it is to lug around and so on. I think this one actually does the job. I actually use this quite a bit, probably the most of all the machines, because I just find the portability to be important for me personally, but it doesn't have all the features of the other machines I mentioned. It doesn't move. The strap can get in the way sometimes. It has some annoyance. Some feeds are not perfect. Ball speeds can be sometimes a question mark. We did get some challenging ball speeds, but sometimes it's like a bit of a FUD. So it's a machine that they're updating as well. They're working on software and firmware. I like the LED screen at the front. There are things to like that tells you the ball direction. So I think this machine can get there. This is the basic model. I have not tried the Ultra. I have not tried the fancier versions. So interesting company. I think they sold a bunch of machines early on from what I heard, and maybe we're struggling a little bit to keep up with the high demand. I saw some comments about that, but overall it's not a machine I would say a lot of bad things about, because I've actually enjoyed playing with this one. I brought it out with a bunch of friends and they also enjoyed it. So it's a interesting machine. Ball speed, not quite there. As a training partner for a lower price, not sure where the price point is right now. When I first received this one, it was like around 700 euros or dollars. But if it's higher now, then you have to consider it as a competitor against Viva and Pongbot Pace S Pro. And then, yeah, unless portability is your number one thing, it might be quite enough. But if portability is a thing and ball speed is not so important, you want like just a feed to work on, or you don't need it to be 60 miles per hour or so, then I think you should consider the Tenniix. I think it actually is very usable because of its portability. I haven't tried a lot of other portable machines, so maybe they are better or maybe they're worse. I don't really know. If you have some recommendations, you can put them in the comments. But there you have it. We have a moving machine that has like a really high ambition, interesting features, AI, cameras, all this jazz, moves around. It's the most ambitious machine. I liked it, but I had some issues with it. Overall, cool to see where it's going, if they're gonna keep innovating, and I will keep my eyes on the Acemate for sure. I think if you have a bunch of kids you're training, I'll go with this machine. If you're a tennis nerd, you wanna work on your game, you wanna test rackets, or you wanna do something, you just wanna work on your backhand, don't we all? Then I think either the Pongbot or the Veva Sports, both very solid machines. Like the Veva Basic, but does the job, good ball speed and so on. But I had nothing really bad to say about the Pongbot either. I thought these machines were pretty similar in features and also flaws. So like the handling with no handles and the weight being heavier. But overall, these are very solid machines, and I've used them quite a bit actually, to be honest. The most portable machine has some issues with weight of ball as the other machines, but it's very portable. That's the main big plus. I do think that the LED screen at the front is very, very smart. So kudos for that. And I haven't tried their more advanced machines, Pros, Ultras, whatever they have. So it's something I would look at more reviews, consider. But you have to ask yourself, as I said in the beginning, do you need the movement? Do you think that's a really cool feature? Do you just need like the ball speed? Then you probably have the two middle machines I would go for. Or do you need portability? That's the main thing, because otherwise you won't bring it out and you won't use it. So that's also an important thing. And then you get going quicker and you have maybe more practice time. So have a think about what you need. If you've tried any of these machines, feel free to comment. We'll see the space move quickly. Remember that you need patience, because you might need to upgrade both firmware and software before the things actually work. I notice they keep pushing out new software firmware all the time. So it's a little bit tricky to review, because a bug that I encountered might have been solved within the 1-2 weeks before this video is out. So, but none of these machines have given me zero headaches, really. But it's been good practice for me. It's been an interesting journey. It's been some frustrations, but overall, I'm definitely happy to have a ball machine or two to play and use for reviewing, but also for improving my own game. So I really think it's a good idea to buy one. Then you might have a specific budget or a specific thinking around features that will help guide you towards the right machine for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, a little bit of an overview of what's on the market, what I've tried. There's obviously a bunch of other brands and ball machines. So if you have recommendations, put them in the comments. More to come about tech like this. If you like this video, please subscribe. I have put affiliate links below if you want to buy any of these machines, and any discount codes if we have. That's it. Have a nice day now, and don't forget to play some tennis.